Mhm. There we go. You'll actually see what the course includes, contact information, the price, early bird price, which we've just missed. But you can get further information on the instructors, Brian Deans, Corrine Brennan, um, and Jillian Hoovey, Hovey or Hoovey, who was a pleasure to meet last year. Super awesome women, super awesome folks. Encourage everybody to come. And you can get there from the website or through either Facebook pages. When you get tickets, it'll direct you to the website. For the convergence, you can, when you click to get tickets, it'll take you to our newmundo.org page. And this is really what's cool. Like, it's not just a ticket and then you show up. This is really all about permaculture in action, getting involved, learning, sharing, crying. Again, Corrine Brennan, Brian Deans will be there. Link to Grow Permaculture, Michael Alcazar. Vanessa Bolin, she'll be doing street medic training, and not only was she one of the amazing medics at Standing Rock, but she joined us last year, and everybody was safe, everybody had a wonderful time. Lots of healing spaces, as well as places to learn. And of course, if you are local to the event and you cannot afford to attend, please contact us. We have options. And we just at least need to know that you're coming. But we have several different types of tickets for folks who are able to. We ask that you pay a little bit more. This really helps us kind of support folks from local communities or that can't afford it's their land. They shouldn't be buying tickets to show up on their land. So our doors are open to them in that way. And basically, your tickets help support us in being able to do that. And different prices. If you want to come be a builder at the Convergence, you can come at a reduced rate. You can submit your projects to folks at the Convergence. There's also a pre-build volunteer option where you can come before the Convergence and volunteer. We're also looking for volunteers during the PDC. So maybe you're not sure that you want to pay for a PDC, but you have a week or two and you want to come hang out in the kitchen and basically see what all they're doing, eat lots of good food, and really get passionate about permaculture. Again, call us, message us. We have options. And they're all listed on our Numundo site, as well as kind of where we're at over here in the corner of South Dakota. Let's see. And so, yes, so there's also folks that may not know much about permaculture that are watching or listening to this video. And I just kind of like to go over a couple things real quick, but as a design science, this is where it starts. It starts with ethics, and it basically starts with care of the earth, care for people, and fair share, or economy, distribution, equitable distribution at that. And once we kind of acknowledge that that's the moral and foundational core of how we want to create in the world, we can kind of move on to like how deep we want to go. But permaculture, the three ethics are here in the middle. Ooh. And then we basically have 12 design principles modeled after how we see and actually traditional cultures that have thrived and lived in harmony, or in a thriving way with their environment. And these are just really simple, obvious principles, but if you don't come from a background of ethics, then your design principles are and you can see in the dominant culture, are completely opposite. And so these can be found too at permacultureprinciples.com, a great website. And I'll just run through these really quick. But observe and interact, very, very important. And in the interacting with observation is what's very important. And really taking the time to observe as well, so that you can properly see a kind of holistic scope in things. Catch and store energy. This applies to catching and storing water or nutrients in your soil, to how offices are designed and infrastructure is put in. Is your workplace catching and storing energy, or or does it not? Or is it extracting energy, from the workers? So traditionally, permaculture has been applied in the kind of agricultural realm, but these are all ecological principles, and people more and more are waking up to the fact that they're part of the ecology, and kind of these apply to us as humans as well. So obtain a yield. Nature gives you yields. But if you're not catching and storing energy for the future, and you're not observing, you're not going to be able to attain a yield for very long. But nature is actually set up to give yields to everything that kind of exists. So by the next principle, applying self-regulation and accepting feedback, that's really listening, right, is important. Nonviolent communication. And we can see in our dominant culture where different forms of regulation, authoritarian or what have you, or representative, their systems aren't scaling with society and society's issues. And the feedback that we're experiencing from this is pretty important. And the feedback from the rapidly changing environment is also important. So use and value, renewable resources and services. It's not just about renewable energy, but if you're renewable materials, and if your services for dealing with waste or whatnot, if that's not a renewable system, then your culture is not going to be renewable. Produce no waste. So much of our systems exist because they're just able to kind of push their waste onto others in society. Designing from patterns to details. This is huge. I used to be a developer. We start with details, but really good, software folks, taking a step back, starting with patterns, testing, feedback, regulation, observation, rinse, integrate, don't segregate. That's not how we do. We develop our cities completely based on segregation, and that's just not going to make it in the future when we have a more migratory population, kind of fleeing or moving away from coastal areas or areas that really exceed 95 degrees Fahrenheit for months at a time. So use and value diversity, use the edges, value the margin, creatively use and respond to change. These are ecological principles, but I've seen them. This is how people in the tech industries and in particular are beginning to talk, right? So this is way different. And in permaculture, we kind of recognize too that life's not just like a static thing. A city is not just a static thing, but as each of us create in our own way, we use ethics,